Hey everybody, it's Harry from Slap Your Daddy BBQ, the YouTube channel that teaches you how to master barbecue so you can spread barbecue love. I'm doing a viewer request today. You guys really liked my competition brisket in the oven episode where I showed you all the black belt tips and hacks to get a passable competition style brisket cooked in your oven at home without any kind of smoker or pit. In this episode, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm going to show you guys how I do competition ribs at home in the oven without a pit. Show you guys some black belt hacks to get you some competition results using just the oven. A few secret ingredients here. We're gonna also do a bonus showing you guys 3 different rub techniques you can use to create the world's best competition oven ribs. We're doing our oven ribs using loin back or baby back ribs, and you can find this in the store. They are sold in a 3-pack usually in most of the discount stores like Costco and Sam's. You don't need to do very much with a loin back or baby back rib. All you need to do is just pull the membrane. I'll show you a fast, easy method of pulling the membrane. All you need to do is pick up the rib, find a bone like this, get a little blunt instrument like a butter knife here, and just kind of wedge your butter knife into the membrane here to kind of get into the fascia here. Pull it apart here. Once you get a toe hold, you want to use a paper napkin to hold it so it's not slippery. Then you kind of run your finger to the other side like so. Okay, once my finger comes out the other side, all you need to do is use the napkin to help you keep the friction. And you just gently tear off the membrane like so. And if you're careful, you should be able to get it off in one piece. If you don't worry. This is something that you get better with practice. So, okay, pull the membrane. Now, whether you decide you want to pull the membrane or not, it's a 3-hour argument and Jerry Springer fist fight. I know some of my competition team friends who don't pull the membrane, they still win. Some of us like to pull the membrane because I think that seasonings will actually stick better to the meat and kind of penetrate the meat from the back. But again, that is a 3-hour argument. If you don't want to pull the membrane, it's absolutely fine. Go ahead and cook your rib without pulling the membrane. Leave the membrane on. First, a black belt tip I'm going to show you on how to get the competition style oven ribs done perfectly is to use this product called liquid smoke. You can buy it in different kinds of flavor. There's apple, hickory, and mesquite. I think the hickory one works really well. What you want to do is you want to drizzle on some of this liquid smoke and brush it onto the meat like so. You want to probably get about, I want to guess, about 1 tablespoon on each side. That will give your meat a smoke flavor even though it's not cooked in the pit. Is this as good as a normal pit smoked barbecue? Obviously not, but if you're at home or it's snowing outside, it's 5 degrees outside, it's snowing. This is the next best thing for you to get some smoke flavor on your meat. I'm putting on about 1 tablespoon of product here, and I'm going to let it dry out a little bit and then add some of the other components. Show you guys how to make 3 kinds of rubs or 3 kinds of rub options for you, including a rub made from scratch. We're going to do a Texas style rub. We're going to do a Slap Your Daddy, like a garlicky sweet rub that will go well on pork. So I'm going to get about 1 tablespoon on each side. If your rib is a little bit bigger, go ahead and use more than 1 tablespoon, but about 1 tablespoon is about right. So we just paint it on. And you don't want to let it dry out a little bit. I usually let this dry out in the refrigerator, but that's kind of an optional step. Sometimes I paint it on twice. So it's kind of like doing that Peking duck episode I show you guys where you paint on the marinade and let the marinade dry out. If you want more smoke, then you want to do it a couple of times. Let it dry out between the paintings and coating. I like a lot of smoke, so I'm going to put a little bit more. I'm going to let it dry out in the fridge while I go ahead and make the rub, show you how to make the rub. And I'm going to do 2 layers of the liquid smoke painting onto the loin back. Now, you're going to ask me, do you need to do it on the bone side? The answer is no. I don't bother doing the bone side. So I'm just a very cost-efficient and process-efficient guy. I'm just cheap and lazy, so I just do the outside on the one side here. We're going to use 3 rubs on the oven ribs. The first one is going to be a very simple Texas style rub of half and half black pepper and salt. About 1 tablespoon of each should be enough. I'm just going to eyeball it. For a little oomph, we're going to add just a touch of white pepper into this Texas style S&P rub. And just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to do SPG, which is salt, pepper, garlic powder. And you can just leave it as salt, pepper if you like. Just a little bit of garlic or more, depending on how you like it. This is our first rub, which is a S&P. Or since I put garlic, it's actually called SPG, with just a hint of spiked with white pepper. The second rub I'm going to show you how to make is my sweet garlicky rib rub. We begin with some brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, half a tablespoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of garlic, 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika, about 1 teaspoon of cayenne. I'm going to eyeball it, so add as little or as much as you want. If you want a spicy sweet rub, go ahead and mix it up. Break up the large granules, and we're all set. And then the third rub I'm going to show you is my combination for competition. A lot of teams are winning first place ribs on the comp circuit using my all-purpose love meat tender on the bone side and using my Jailbird First Place USA chicken rub on the meat side. So we're going to do 3 different rubs in this oven rib episode. Show you the hack on how to use liquid smoke to get a smoke flavor. The next hack I want to show you is how to get that pink smoke ring that is characteristic of meat cooked in a wood pit or charcoal pit. You can do it 1 of 3 different ways. I have a separate video where I talk about the different methods to get smoke ring. So you can find that video by searching my channel, looking for smoke ring, or look in the video description for the video link. Smoke ring is a chemical reaction, and the chemical reaction can be enhanced by adding some products that have naturally occurring compounds that create the smoke ring. It's primarily nitrates and nitrites. So you can use a celery seed, which naturally has a high concentration of nitrates to get the smoke ring combined with the moisture. You can use celery seed ground up if you like, but if you don't like the flavor of celery seed, you can use a couple of options here. You can also use a product called Morton Tender Quick, which is a sausage cure. It already has some nitrites in it with salt. Or you can buy just the product itself, which is the pink curing salt. This is also used to make sausages and ham. Either one of these 3 methods will work. Just for kicks and giggles, I'll show you guys all 3 methods we'll use on the 3 ribs that we're cooking in the oven. For the first one, I'm going to use a little bit of celery seed to get the smoke ring. If you don't like celery seed flavor, don't use this method, but I'm just going to apply a very, very, very light coating of celery seed. That's enough to get a nice smoke ring on it. That's plenty. Get a little bit of mustard smear on it next, so that the rub will stick. Apply the rub. I'm going to do the first one with the Texas rub using the celery seed. And just a nice even coat of rub is good. You always pat down the rub. You never rub a rub. Flip it over. Do the other side. All right, that's the first one. Second one, I'm going to add a little bit of Tender Quick to get a smoke ring. Little dusting is enough. All right, a little bit of a smear. Now, do you need to put the smoke ring products on the other side? The answer is no. I just do it on the meat side. You don't need any smoke ring on the back side where the bone is. For the second rib, I'm going to use the sweet, spicy garlic rub. For the third one, I'm going to use a little bit of pink curing salt. You just need a very tiny smidgen. This is powerful stuff, so don't overdo it. I'm going to put probably just about yay much. And on the meat side, I'm going to put my competition rub. So this is a full-on competition rib in the oven using a full-on First Place USA competition products. On this one, I left out the mustard, so I want to show you the variation. You don't always need to use mustard. You can cook it without the mustard. The mustard is more like a schmear. Since my ribs are already slightly wet, I don't really need the schmear from the mustard, so I'm going to show you an option here. You don't always have to follow everything I showed you, but I show you as many options as I can because I want you to cook barbecue and make it your own style. Remember, love what you cook and love the way you cook it. We'll flip it over. We're going to use my Love Meat Tender rub. If you can see, it's a little Elvis homage to one of my favorite singers. Since the back is a little bit dry, I'm going to put a little bit of mustard here for the schmear. The role of a schmear is basically to make sure that the rub will stick. You can use many products. You can use Worcestershire. You can use oil. You can use apple juice. Apple cider vinegar doesn't really matter so long as it will stick. So I put a little bit of schmear on the other side since this side was not wet. The other side was still wet from the liquid smoke I put on. I'm going to put my Love Meat Tender on this side, which is the all-purpose rub. Add it down. And we're ready to go. Rest the ribs in the refrigerator. I like to rest about an hour before I cook it because you'll give the rub a chance to penetrate the meat. This is a very important step. Some of you have told me that sometimes when you cook ribs, there's not a lot of flavor. Well, here's the tip. You really need to get your rub to sit and set on the meat before you start cooking it, either in the pit or in the oven. After a 1 hour rest in the refrigerator, we're ready to put the ribs on a cooling rack in the oven. The top one is going to be my Slap Your Daddy one. Next shelf O is going to be the Texas style and my sweet garlic rub. Be sure to spray the ribs every half hour or so. Kind of keep it moist so that the crust will set also. If you like, you can add some of the liquid smoke to your water when you spray, but water is also just fine. It's taken about 3 hours for the crust to form on the ribs, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So this one is the one with the competition rub. This is my garlic sweet rub, and this is the Texas salt and pepper. Let's go ahead and wrap them now. We'll need some honey, peach nectar, melted butter, some brown sugar, and some cayenne pepper. Start with the ribs, meat side, brown sugar, and put it into a flour sifter. That way it pours a little bit easier. The black belt tip that the pros use. If you try to put it by your hand, it's not so even, but this way it gets to be applied in a very nice even layer. There's a little bit of melted butter. About a tablespoon of peach nectar. Drizzle of some good honey. And then a very, very light dusting of cayenne pepper just on the meat side. Give it that little bit of a competition kick just on the meat side. Just a very, very light dusting, it's fine. Flip it over so we finish with the meat side down. And we're gonna wrap it burrito style. Making sure that you want to break any bones off the edges here. If you want, you can clean up all the bone edges. You've seen my competition rib video, you can follow some of those additional black belt tricks. Rib, I'm going to just go ahead and wrap it. Now, for those who are very observant, you'll notice that I'm wrapping it side in. This actually will cook faster this way because I wanted to cook faster because of the shininess provides for the electromagnetic reflection. It's called infrared reflectivity for those of you who are super nerdy out there. So this is ready to go. We're going to put it back into the pit, or in this case the oven, at 275 until it becomes probe tender between the bones. Putting it back in the 275 degree oven again. 275 degree for about 3 hours, followed by 275 degrees another hour and a half too, until it's probe tender. After an hour and a half in the oven, wrapped, our ribs are ready now. The way you want to test the rib is you can use many methods, but the most reliable method that I teach beginners is to use the back of a plastic fork. So notice how the tip looks just like your teeth. So you take the plastic fork, you poke between the bone like so. If it goes in smoothly like that, that means it's done. You can do it all the way falling off the bone, or you can cook it so that it still has a little bit of give. This one has just a little bit of a give. So I'm going to cook it to like competition style tenderness. And this is pretty tender, so this is done. Texas salt and pepper, spicy garlic rub, and the competition rub. So you can see the color across all three. They're pretty comparable. And then cut them up and take a look at the smoke ring before we apply some of my Slap Your Daddy sauce to finish it. All right, let's do a close-up now. You can see this is the one with the Slap Your Daddy rub, one with the sweet, garlicky, spicy rub, and here's the one with the Texas S&P. All three ribs look really good, nice and tender. And I'm gonna put some sauce and give it a taste test. I'm gonna do one with sauce and one without sauce. All right, let's get some Slap Your Daddy sauce on a piece. Get a taste with sauce and without sauce. Okay, let's take a bite now. Let me try a piece of the Texas style salt and pepper. Take a bite here. Very good. Very traditional style rib. Mr. Beans is waiting for his turn. It's got a slight hint of the celery, as I mentioned to you. If you don't like celery, don't try this method. Try the one with the sauce. Take a bite with the sauce, Texas style. Both the sauce without sauce are both good. I have not to watch the one with the sauce, so I'm gonna vote the one with sauce. Let's try the one. This is the garlic sweet rub, scratch made. Take a bite of the one with the sauce. Super delicious. Also has a pretty decent smoke ring, not too bad. You can see here, not too shabby. You can see a smoke ring here on the top and the bottom, right here and right here. So this was using some of the, I believe, using the pink cure. Let me take a bite of this. All right, for this one, that had the garlic sweet spicy rub, I actually prefer it unsauced. So this one tastes better unsauced. We move on to my Slap Your Daddy competition one. Pretty decent ring here. You can see here. I'm going to eat the one with the sauce. Well, let me try the one without the sauce first. There. Take a bite here. Super delicious. Very, very tender. Let me try it with the sauce. Beautiful color, mahogany color. Very, very thick smoke ring. All right, for the third one, I like it with the sauce. So with sauce is better, without sauce is better, with sauce is better. So what's the message? The message is that love what you cook and cook what you love, and enjoy the way you want. It's a Jerry Springer fist fight as to whether you like sauce or no sauce, but again, enjoy any way you like. Some days I like it with sauce, some days I don't. And what's the winner here? Obviously, a different kind of a rib. The salt and pepper, very, very basic Texas style. Absolutely great eating rib. Don't get me wrong. One of the probably the best oven rib you can eat. The one with the rub I showed you, made from scratch, has a little bit more complexity. Not bad, in my opinion. I prefer the complexity over kind of the Texas style. So, if this was sort of a jeans and t-shirt, this would be more like a suit. And then the third one has the most complex flavor. That's like wearing a tuxedo. And the complexity is absolutely amazing. Not everybody likes a competition rib flavor, but I think that a competition rib flavor is the best. But I could be biased. But I won first place many times using my chicken rub and my all-purpose rub in contest. So I understand why, if I were a judge and I was eating these three samples, in terms of just, if all three are perfectly cooked, which they are, nice tenderness, I would still give this one the highest points in terms of the KCBS scoring. 9 for appearance, 9 for tenderness, and 9 for taste. But that's just me. Your mileage will vary. So again, you don't have to follow me. Just do what you want. But the tricks I showed you, cooking in the oven, using the hacks, using the smoke ring to get the enhanced smoke ring. We use 3 different methods. We use either the celery seed, we used the pink curing salt, or we use some of the Morton Tender Quick. For the smoke flavor, you saw how we painted on the hack, which was paint on some of the liquid smoke and let it dry out in the fridge before we apply the rest of the process. So enough of me talking now. Mr. Beans, you ready for your taste test for ribs to see which one you like? I'll give you all 3 samples, okay? All right, here are the 6 samples. So these 2 here are the competition. These 2 here are from the sweet garlic spicy rub. And these 2 here are from the Texas. So there's 2 samples because for each sample there's a sauce and unsauced sample. So we'll see if the top barbecue dog judge, what does he say? Okay, Beans? So here's the competition one, here's the Texas, and here's the spicy rub. All right, so let's see which one you want. Okay, go. He's smelling it. Oh, he's eating the one from the sweet spicy competition, and the last one he's eating is the Texas. So he picked the scratch made sweet rub first. Second was my competition combo. And the third was the S&P Texas style. Good job, Beans. Hey, thanks for stopping by, checking out my best oven ribs episode. I hope you find the tips helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Tell everybody about my channel. I'd like to do a shout out for all my Patreons who are helping sponsor my channel so I can provide you guys with free YouTube videos at no cost. Until the next video, we will see ya.